Hi, welcome back. Or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Cynthia, and hopefully the lighting is a little bit better. I am in a different setup than normal. As you can see, my regular setup's back here. And so I'm trying to record this on my iMac that I have at a different computer station in hopes that it'll turn out a little bit better. And I hope that you guys are all having a wonderful Saturday. I don't have a lot planned today, actually, which is kind of abnormal for me. I generally am super duper busy and have almost no free time. So I woke up this morning and I went to the gym, and now after I film and edit this, I get to play video games, you guys. You have no idea how long it's been since I've had a day to myself. So hopefully all of my peeps out there are doing something on this Saturday that is enjoyable to them. Or if not today, hopefully at least tomorrow you get to do something that's enjoyable rather than the regular chores and life stuff that we have to do. I have got a hair that is just flying all over the place. Look, I got a couple of them. We're just gonna go with it, you guys. We're gonna go with it. So one of the videos that was requested on my Facebook, I posted a poll about a week ago, and the most requested video was a story time. So that's what we're going to be chatting about today. I'm going to be telling you the story of the worst date that I have ever had. And so just to preface this story, I don't actually have a lot of dating experience. I have spent most of my entire adult life in a relationship, and probably the last almost year that I have been single has been embarrassingly the longest that I've ever been single. So not a whole lot of dating experience, but I do have a little bit. And this particular story I just had to share with you because it was just cringy. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into it. At this time, I was living in Colorado. So this was probably 3 or 4 years ago. I lived in the Denver area, and I was single. I moved there after a long-term relationship had ended, looking for a fresh start, going to move somewhere else and, you know, really change my life. Yeah, that was my plan. So I met this guy. I started talking to this guy. I met him on Craigslist. Ladies, don't look for your mate on Craigslist. There is nothing good that comes out of Craigslist. So I started talking to this guy, and we're going to call him Jason. And I don't think that's his actual name. Not sure if I really remember his name. But for this story, we're going to call him Jason. So Jason and I start exchanging emails on Craigslist, and at this time I was a mess. And I was talking to a couple different guys off of Craigslist, but this was the first one that I was actually going to go and meet. So Jason and I make plans that we are going to go out to dinner and just kind of wing it after that. So I lived in Lakewood, which is a suburb of Colorado, and a suburb of Colorado, Cynthia. It's a suburb of Denver in the state of Colorado. My brain, you guys, I don't even know what to do with myself. See, I get some free time and I don't even know how to act. So Lakewood is a suburb of Denver, and we were going to go and eat dinner at this Irish pub that was in Belmar. Now, Belmar is kind of like an up-and-coming, this was 3 or 4 years ago. It's kind of like a downtown-y place in the middle of a suburb, if that makes sense. It's very nice, and there's a lot of good things, a lot of good shops and a lot of good restaurants and all of that in Belmar. So I think that this was December because there was an ice skating rink in the middle of Belmar. So December, we're going to go and we are going to have dinner at this Irish pub in Belmar. And I didn't know a whole lot about Jason. I knew that he was an accountant, and I knew that he was in his 30s. At this time, I was 30. He was in his 30s, and he was single. That's all I knew. And I agreed to meet this guy off of the internet. Oh, Cynthia. 30-year-old Cynthia. So we go and meet, and I can't remember the name of the pub. I would have to look it up, but we meet at this pub, and he walks in, because I get there early. When I go on a date, guys, I get there early because I don't want to be the one that walks in and the person's like looking me up and down. Oh, no, I'm going to be there first so that you have to be the one that walks in. So I get there, and I was looking good that night. I really, I did my hair, I did my makeup, I had, my cute little winter clothes on, and I had a scarf, because it's Colorado and it's freezing. I was looking good, you guys. He was lucky to be on a date with me. So, I hug him when he walks in, and that's where I was like, oh, no. So something that I wasn't used to, because I moved to Colorado from southern Oklahoma, and Oklahoma is Oklahoma. It's like California was in the early 90s. That's about how advanced Oklahoma is, and how open-minded the state is. So I moved to Colorado from Oklahoma, and in Colorado at that time only medicinal marijuana was legal. Later, while I was living there, recreational marijuana became legal, but at this time it was only medicinal marijuana, which that's a whole other story time about those types of things that I encountered being around a state that had dispensaries on every corner. There was this story every single day. But I hug him, and he smells so bad. And that's one of my pet peeves, you guys. If you're going to go on a date with a girl, can you put a little bit of effort into it? Can you try to smell nice? Because I know that I didn't show up stinking, but now I gotta smell you for the whole date. At least an hour. He smelled so bad like marijuana, you guys. And I have no problem with anybody who uses it for medicinal purposes or otherwise. That's y'all's choice. I just don't want to smell it while I'm on a date with you. That's really, that's your first impression? That's the first impression you're going to give me? Come on. Come on. So, I'm going to get through this date. And so Jason and I sit down at a table in this pub, and this pub is really cool. I had eaten there maybe once or twice before, but they have tabletops on these big barrels. You guys know the big barrels that you can use as planters, or I think maybe they put wine in them or something. Big giant barrel, and then it has a tabletop. So it was really cool, and then little stools that go up to it. I thought it was cute. And we both got the fish and chips. And the conversation, maybe he just wasn't into me either, and that's fine. That's fine. But, we're here. Can we make the best of the situation? Jason, can we make the best of the situation? Having a conversation with him was like dragging blood out of a turnip. And he only wanted to talk about his job and how bad he was at his job. Okay? This guy's an accountant, and he wanted to talk about how bad he was at his job. That's scary. He said that he had almost no idea what he was doing in his job. And at that time, I worked for a private specialty group, and I worked in their finance department. So we did accounting, we did financial analysis. So I knew a little bit about what his job entailed, obviously in a different capacity because he wasn't in the healthcare field. I can't remember. I think maybe he worked for like a school district or a college system or something like that. Like I can't truly remember it. It's not important. But he continually talked about how bad he was at his job and how he was always getting reprimanded for doing stuff wrong. And he could never get caught up on his work. And I'm like, Jason, this is really like a bad first impression. I mean, obviously I didn't say that. I'm just sitting there like, oh gosh. Well, hopefully, they can get you some additional training so that you can, get a better understanding of how that's supposed to work. Oh God, that's terrible. Yeah, this is me on a date, you guys. And in my head, I'm going, somebody put me out of my misery, please. So we get through dinner, and the conversation continued about his job. Like, heaven forbid you want to know anything about me. We're good. I'll talk about your job. Tell me more. Please, tell me more. Finally, we get through dinner, and I had to have a drink during that dinner. I got like a Corona Rita, which if you guys don't know what those are, you should look them up because they are amazing. I needed a drink to get through that dinner, and finally it ends. And then there's always like at the end of a date, there's like always that awkward small talk. And to make matters worse, the awkward small talk continued as we walked around the ice skating rink because both of us were so obviously uncomfortable. We didn't know what to say to like make it end, but it was clear that neither one of us were interested in the other person. So we walk around the skating rink, the ice skating rink in the middle, with this painful small talk. Finally, we circle back around to the side where my car is parked, and I was like, gosh, Jason, it was so nice to meet you. It is freezing out here, so I'm going to go ahead and go, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. It was great spending time with you. And then I had to hug him again and smell him again. And I could not get to my car fast enough, you guys. I got to my car, and I was looking good, so I started taking selfies. And then I finally left, and I went home. And I never heard from Jason again, and I never contacted Jason again. And Jason, I hope you figured out your job, or you found one that you might be a little bit better at. But alright, you guys, that's my story about the worst date that I've ever been on. I do actually have a really good story coming from living in Denver about the best date that I ever was on. So I'll probably film that one next time. If you guys want to hear something different, leave me a comment below. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will be seeing you guys soon. Have a wonderful Saturday. I love you all. Bye, peeps.